You ever met a person and they get a little bit of knowledge and all of a sudden they become an expert? I'm going to tell you why that happens. Let's talk about it.
Oh, it's good. Good and terrible.
I love Brotha T.
How you doing? This is Terrion Wilson, aka your boy Brotha T, here with another one. So I like to thank you and welcome to the New Life Tree, where we like to give you little pine cones of wisdom for your motivation and mental health. If you don't know what that is, stick around, stay on the channel, you'll get it. Remember, I don't know everything, but I might know a lot of things.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with him. I can prove it.
Of course there's something wrong with him. He's a Negro.
So today we're going to talk about a little theory that I stumbled upon, and I think this is going to blow some of you guys' minds. I know that sounded weird the way I said that, but that's okay. So let's go into a theory called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Now, I'm not going to go deep into it, but I'm going to touch it on a surface level, and I'm going to explain 3 tiers of it so it can be, digestible to some people. So the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a type of cognitive bias in which a person believes they are smarter and more capable than they are. Low ability people do not possess the skills needed to recognize their own incompetence. The combination of poor self-awareness and low cognitive ability leads them to overestimate their abilities. So, you ever meet anybody that gets a low-level base knowledge of something and they become the expert? Some of you go to church, right, that listen to this. You ever see somebody, as soon as they get saved, like they know everything? Then you get somebody else that's been in the church for 30 years. They try to even tell them, the right thing. Like they got it all wrong. This whole 30 years, you've been wasting your time. My 5 months, I'm going to tell you exactly what this scripture is saying. Like that's kind of what they're saying. But you can also translate that into different areas of your life. Now, if you're trying to become an expert at something, sometimes the Dunning-Kruger effect kicks in. This is going to make, I'm going to wrap it all up before this is done, right? So when the Dunning-Kruger effect kicks in, that means that you're overestimating the knowledge you have in a subject, or you're overestimating how good you are and how much you actually know. This can easily happen because you're getting overconfident. Now, what can be another effect of, this theory? Sometimes when people overlearn, I shouldn't say overlearn, but sometimes when you get a lot of knowledge in something, sometimes we get a little bit complacent and bored with what we've learned, and we kind of, man, there's actually more to know. Like, oh my gosh. Like I realized through all this research and all this learning that there's way more to know. So, man, and sometimes they stop with that. So sometimes the first phase, right, you're learning a little bit and you think you know everything. Then the second phase, sometimes you learn a lot and then you get discouraged, right? So there's also a third phase. So what's the third phase? The third phase for some people, a lot of people don't make it to this phase, but the last one would be people who realize that they learned a lot and there's way more to learn and are still eager to learn. These are the people that become masters in something. This is the whole reason for this episode. When you want to know something, when you want to become a master at something, I want you to adopt that third way of thinking. Don't get a little bit of knowledge and stop and say, I know everything now, I can stop. Don't get a lot of knowledge and stop to say, you know what, this is too much, I'm out of here. I want you to get to the point where you're learning a lot and then there's a lot more to learn and you're eager to get that too, because that puts you in a place where you can master it. And mastery is what you really want in whatever you're trying to do for a living, a career, or even in your hobbies. Do you want to become a singer, right? Do you want to be a mediocre singer? Do you want to be a good singer? Do you want to be a bad singer? I don't know. But what I can tell you is that there's always something else you can learn. Now, you can have the greatest voice in the world, but sometimes getting to a voice coach makes you even better, doesn't it? Right? Sometimes you look at the greats and how they sing. That might help you. Learning to read music, sheet music. Now, some of you say, how would that make you a better singer? It can make you a better singer. It can, because you'll start seeing how they wrote the actual music and the notes and the keys. And we'll get into that later. But it can make you better. If you're being a filmmaker, like your boy, Brotha T, I'm a filmmaker. I'm forever learning. I know a lot now. I know enough to shoot movies and documentaries now, but I also understand that there are masters in this game. There are Spike Lees and Jim Camerons and Quentin Tarantino's and Brian De Palma's and Steven Soderbergh's. You can tell that's. Do you get what I'm going? That was off the top of my head. Those are people that I look at and I say, these are the best in the field. And they're not the best just because they made big movies. These are the best, actually, when you watch their work. Martin Scorsese is another one. When you watch their work, you see master work. Now, I study them. I break them down by frames. Why do I do this? I do this because I know enough to do what I'm doing. I do this because I know that there's always something to go learn. And if I get to the point of mastery and then I'm improving on that mastery, even, I'm going to get to a point where nobody can touch it. Right? Now, am I being arrogant? Maybe a little bit, maybe a smidge, but that's okay because I know where it's going. And if you know where it's going and you know where you're going, then you're going to be poised to make that transition into whatever you're trying to do in life. Remember, do not let anything stop you. Do not get a little bit of information and think you know better than the people who have all the experience. Don't get the experience and get discouraged because there's so much more to learn. I want you to get the knowledge, get the experience, and then get more experience and keep going to perfect yourself. This is this is how you're going to get where you want to go in life. Excuse me for stuttering. I'm just so passionate. I love you guys, and I want you to get what you want out of life. I want you to not fall into the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? I don't want you guys to jump into something and think everything's going to wrap up and be done with, and you're going to get exactly what you want in a week. That's not logical. Maybe not even a year. Sometimes it takes multiple years to learn something. They say to become an expert, you need 10,000 hours. Get to that 10,000 hours. And even when you get to that 10,000 hours, always be in a state of perfecting, because you don't have to be perfect. But if you're in a state of perfecting, then that keeps you going. You keep learning. You keep going to the next level. Then you become a Jordan. Then you become a Serena Williams. You get what I'm saying? You become the best in your craft or whatever, right? So this is your man, Terrion Wilson. I just wanted to drop that on you. Keep going till you get the mastery. Check you on the next one. Peace.